everyone. Welcome to the webinar called Yoga for Wellbeing, More Than Just a Pose, which has been arranged for members of the South Yorkshire Women Inspired Network, linked to the Mental Health Awareness Week, which takes place from the 11th to the 17th of May. My name is Liz Leggett and I'm the Deputy Head for Health and Wellbeing on the Network Committee. Caroline Brannigan, Head of Health and Wellbeing, is also supporting the session today. So the South Yorkshire Women's Network exists to inspire, empower and elevate women from all backgrounds to reach their full potential. Our network offers a dedicated space where women can connect, lead and thrive, supported by mentorship, shared learning and leadership development tailored to their lived experiences. We offer regular webinars, inspirational talks and events, as well as career mentoring and other offers. We'll put a link in the chat for our link tree, which contains our main links, including the web page. A form to join. I'd like to introduce you to Lucy.
Hi everybody, I'm really glad that you're here. This isn't about anything being perfect, or if you be, about you being flexible or spiritual or owning expensive yoga pants or anything like that. It's about finding little moments of calm in real life, messy, beautiful, imperfect life. So we just are gonna go through a few slides. So if you could just take us to his first slide, Liz, please. So just wanted to start off with a little bit about me and yoga. And there's a lot of misconceptions about yoga and what it is and what you have to be to do yoga. So I want to bust through all of that. So yoga in itself means union, mind, body, breath, which sounds beautiful because on most days mine are behaving like three completely different people. But yeah, I started out, I've always struggled with mental health issues. And I started out, my auntie was a yoga teacher when I was little. So my mum used to take me along to that. But her style of yoga was very rigid and she was British wheel of yoga, and it was all structured and everything had to be a certain way. There was a right and a wrong. And I think that's, for me, is not what yoga is about at all. Yoga is about finding what works for you and knowing that it's as imperfect as we are. We are, anybody that stands here, I can't stand all these Instagram pose perfect, celery drinking people that, this is how it should be. And it's not. It's about finding your own route, finding your own way, and, finding out what works for you. And there's so much. So we can't go through it all, but I can bust through and give you pointers on what I've found and hopefully help you find some different things. So especially when we're working, life in itself throws so much stuff at us mentally. It can be really hard. And with us jobs, we go through all of us. We're very lucky if we haven't come across trauma and vicarious trauma. I'm a holistic therapist that's a yoga teacher as well. For years I've taught different things in schools and worked through retreats and everything like that, and found my own path with things. But I want to go on to the next slide so we can talk about all the different types of yoga. Brilliant, thank you, Liz. So what I found was, also, as you're going through your journey and as you're going through life, things change and you need different things. So, sometimes you might crave a little bit of structure, and something like a vinyasa yoga, which is vinyasa is like a repetitive flow. So you'll come to your mat and you'll do a sequence over and over. So there'll be that style. There's so many different ones. There's dynamic yoga. If you're wanting to get into doing all the poses and things like that, there's things like rocket yoga. if you're feeling like you need something more nurturing, there's yin yoga, where yin yoga is you might come to a mat and you'll hold a pose. So you'll go into these poses and you'll hold a pose. So sometimes things like that, when you're going through with your mental health, you'll find it releases things. You can go into a pose and your body holds the tension. So if you are in a pose and you hold that pose, you actually feel your muscles relax the longer that you're in the pose. I just found that I got put on antidepressants when I was 12 years old. There was no, it was, here's a tablet to ease everything. There was no, let's, back then, you wasn't offered anything. So I kind of had to find my own way of dealing with things and my own way of things to help me. And coming back to yoga, I found that there was something for whatever I needed, for them days when I needed a bit of support and people around me. You can go to classes and you've got the support of the other people around you. Like I said, you can pick whichever class you want to, what you're feeling at that time. If you're feeling like you can't face anybody and you can't be in that environment, you can just whip you know, you don't even need a yoga mat. You can just do yoga anywhere, which is what I found. You know, it's so inclusive. You don't need anything. You don't need anybody. You've just got you. It's all about you and finding and exploring your body and what helps and works for you. So, you know, my teacher, he spent a lot of time teaching on a beach in Bali with no equipment, no nothing. But then you've got the other side of things where you've got the studios and you've got all the equipment and all the, you know, even nowadays you can do aerial yoga where you can go and do everything in the air, and there's so much you can do. But I think sometimes it's intimidating to walk into a studio or walk into somewhere, especially I found some of the teachers was very, I can't stand it if people touch me. So, you know, if you go into a class, and I found some of the teachers too much for me. There was the way that I teach is that it's all about finding the pose within your body, because let's face it, we're all completely different. All our bodies are completely different. And trying to get into some poses just isn't going to work for some people. And I think for me, and mental health, yoga is just about exploring you and finding you within it all. You know, it gives you you building your strength mentally and physically. So you're just creating something that's for you. So don't, you know, think too much about what somebody tells you or how it's supposed to be. It's about how it feels within your body. And like I said, there's so many different types. There's Kundalini, for example, if you wanted to go really hardcore, Kundalini is very like quite spiritual. It's very for mixing up your energy if you're feeling really stuck with your energy and things like that. Hatha is a really good place to start if you're unsure on where to start. A Hatha yoga class is a little bit of everything, so it's kind of just starts you on your journey. But there's lots of things nowadays on YouTube and that you can follow. Yoga with Adriene is a really good one to have a look at, because I find she does little snippets where you can just, she'll do like 15 minutes, little ones where you can just bang them on in the morning or on a night or whenever, if you're feeling a bit low, and bring it into your everyday life. I find bringing it into your everyday life with just little tiny things, like even if you're just making a cup of tea, do a pose while you're waiting for that kettle to boil. You do a pose, you know, little things like just pulling up on your legs, drawing that energy up, refreshing them legs. And I know when we're sat at a desk all day, it can be really a lot on us bodies. So just taking 2 seconds, just sitting yourself up and just checking in with yourself. How am I feeling? Will I feel better if I just have a stretch out? And just sit on your body, sit on your chair, just have a little stretch. It's all about exploring your bodies. So if we go on to the next slide, Liz, please. So we're going to do a little breath work as well, because yoga's more about a pose. It's not just about poses. They call them asanas. Asana just means pose. That's another thing I won't do. I won't stand there, and a lot of teachers will stand there and they'll talk Sanskrit to you, so you ain't got a clue what they're saying. But it's basically, you know, it's just poses. It's just different kinds of stretching the body out. But the other side of yoga is the breath as well. So we all breathe when, you know, if we're alive, we're breathing. It's a natural thing. So I just want you to take a moment and just think about your breath. So just shake those shoulders off, shake those hands off, and just notice where you're breathing. Can you feel that breath? Are you breathing into your chest? Are you breathing into your belly? Can you feel it going up your nose, coming out your mouth? And just think about that breath, because the breath has such an effect on us bodies, and we can soothe the nervous system through doing different breath work, or we can hype ourselves up with different breath work. We can use the breath to our advantage and however we need it. If we're going into a big meeting, we can do a bit of breath of fire. If we're feeling like as nervous systems, you know, right up here, and we need to calm ourselves a bit, we can do some different breath techniques to calm ourselves down and literally trick us bodies into calming that nervous system. So I wanted to start off with what I call wood chopper breath, which will not be the technical term whatsoever, but I call it wood chopper breath. I think it's from working with kids a lot. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stand up. Should I push that back a little bit? And we're just going to have his feet hip distance apart and just bend the knees a little bit. We're going to have a nice straight back. Imagine a piece of string through the spine, pulling that spine all the way up. And we're going to grab hold of our axe. So we've got a big, heavy axe in front of us. And we're going to start inhaling. So we inhale, and we keep inhaling, inhale, 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 and release it all down. And just shake those arms, release that head, and bring yourself back. So we'll do that one more time. Feet hip distance apart, plant those feet in, bend those knees, grab hold of that axe, and we're going to inhale. So inhale, 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 and release. And just shake it all off. Okay, so that is a 2-second little bit of breath work, which I find if you're really stressed or you've been in a high tense environment or something like that, it's just nice to release. That's how it makes me feel. It's like a release and a revitalize kind of breath. It's a good one for the toolbook, that one. Toolbox. Another style is I picked 3 because these 3 I think are really good ones to have in your little pocket to pull on. So if you need some focus, and to regulate yourself, the 4-4-4-4 breath is a really good one to do. So for that one, we're going to inhale for 4, we're going to pause for 4, we're going to exhale for 4, and we're going to pause for 4 again. So we're just going to do a couple of rounds of that, and then notice how that one makes you feel. So if you're ready, we're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. And just let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. So just notice how that's recentered you and refocused. But once again, this is your body and there's no right or wrongs. It's about trying these different things and just finding what the best things are for you. There's so many different types of breath. And I just think that we don't talk about the breath enough. You know, the breath, it's like a remote control for your nervous system, and you're in control of that remote control. And if you learn different skills when you're struggling, when you need to draw on it, you know, your body's a machine. Your body, if you learn how to work it and how to use the tools around you, it can just make life so much easier for you and bring a bit of peace and a bit of calm in this chaotic world for yourselves. So I do a lot of, they call it ujjayi breath. Well, they call it lots of different things. It can be called ocean breath or victorious breath. It's one of these things in yoga where everybody's got a different name for it. But I find this one really helps me while I'm doing my poses, while I'm doing my different flows and routines, and sometimes just to calm myself. I find it really works for my nervous system. So this one is just, it's, if you imagine that you're trying to fog up a piece of glass. So we close a little bit of his throats off. So if you imagine that you're going to fog up a piece of glass and you go, but now we're going to try it with his mouth shut. So you can hear that sort of whisperingness of the breath. So we carry that on through the inhale as well. It can take a bit of practice. So it's, but try it with the mouth shut. And I find with this one, you can really deepen the breath. You can get some really deep breaths going, and you can draw it all the way down into the belly. So when you're thinking about doing your breath, a lot of the time as well, when we're in anxiety, we're only using this top part of the chest. We only use the top part of the lungs, and we need to try and use all those chambers. So I try and think of it as you're drawing it all the way down into your belly. Another good visual is if you imagine you've got a balloon in your belly and you want to blow it up with air. So you're drawing that air all the way down. So when you're doing something like a deep breathing, doesn't matter which one it is, any of the ones, you know, if you do with the longer exhales and things like that, it's about concentrating on getting that air all the way through the body and then releasing it all the way back out. So you're using all of them lungs and working that diaphragm. And we're putting, you know, we're calming ourselves. I think another thing that really helps, we don't talk about the proprioceptive system enough. And that can, you know, when we get overwhelmed and with things like anxiety and everything's a bit much, if we just take a moment and just a really quick, easy thing is just sitting with your bum on the floor and just placing your hands all around you. So just palm on the ground, all around the front of your body and going back. And that's just a really quick exercise to help with that anxiety as well. You could, introduce that with the breath work, and but have a little play with different breath works. Like I say, there is so many. I'll have to do some and put some on my page so that you can do a few different other ones. But the effect that it can have is just brilliant. So I just wanted to have a run through the different breath works with you to have a play about with that.
Lucy, can I just interrupt? Sorry, there's a question in the chat asking about the technique you were demonstrating a minute ago, whether there should be any noise with the mouth closed. Should there be any noise from that?
Yeah, so a little bit of noise, not a noise so that somebody over there can hear you, but maybe if somebody was sat right at the side of you, they'd be able to hear you. It's like if you struggle to start with, just try doing it with the mouth open. It's a lot easier to do with the mouth open than it is to do with the mouth shut. So it's basically you are like constricting a bit of your throat when you're breathing, and it makes like a whispering noise. So it's I think it's like when you fog up a glass, but when you've got your mouth shut, I suppose you can hear it a little bit more than anybody else as well, because it's all internal. But you've got those those vibrations going through the body as well. But we haven't got time to go on all the the vibration road. But it's all good yummy stuff for the body anyway. So yeah, it's noise enough for somebody who would be right next to you would be able to hear, but not far. Okay, should we go on to the next one, Liz? So Alpaca yoga, this is something that I do throughout the summer. This is a wonderful thing for well-being and mental health. I found that this was this really helped me. I did quite a bit of work last year with a charity that worked a lot with domestic violence and sexual abuse. So some days I'd come away from that and it'd be really, really heavy. And to be able to go to the alpaca field, instantly, the energy, the tranquility of it all, it just lifts you. So I think it's about finding different things, once again, that work for you. But this is the alpacas. They're so inquisitive and they're so calming. I think until you've experienced it, you unless you're terrified of them, obviously. But they are so calming and they love cuddles. They just suck every little bit of negativity out of you. And it's just such a fun, beautiful thing to experience. And I like this because this is like my whole thing on yoga, where it is not strict. It is not, this is how it should be. It's you come, you join in to what you want to do, and there's no right or wrong. I'm not going to sit there and pick at you in poses. It's you're stretching your body out, you're around animals, you're feeling all that love, all that positivity. You're out in nature, in an open field. Maybe the sun's beaming on you, maybe you've got a little bit of drizzle on you. I've had all weathers. But it all, I once did a class and we literally had the whole season in that 1 hour. We had the sun, the wind, the rain, everything, and there wasn't a dry eye in the place. Everybody was in tears because it was so emotional. It was such an experience. Everybody was so heightened and so couldn't believe how what they'd felt with it. But it's just such a calming experience. So it is I think there's places that do goat yoga and there's all different types. So I think it's what I'm saying is as well that this is another type of yoga that you can go to with no expectations, and it's just about well-being. It is just about mental health and well-being and strengthening that body and mind. Again, it is such a beautiful thing to experience. Yeah. Right, should we go to the next one, Liz? So Yoga Nidra, this is another aspect of yoga that I don't think a lot of people know what it is or realize what it is. And you can do this with alpacas as well. But this is something that you can do anywhere. Once again, if you need it, you can do it laid on your bed at home. You can go to a class. You can do it anywhere. And it is basically literally just a guided meditation technique. So it induces a deep conscious relaxation, and it allows the body to, it's similar to like a deep sleep. It takes you through layers of external and internal awareness, and is really, really important, I think, especially for us women that find it really hard to switch off, especially if you're going through menopause and things like that. Woo. And you're finding that you're not sleeping like you used to, or the effects of your work, your family life, anything like that is affecting your relaxation and your sleep. This is such a beautiful thing to draw from. So I've got a little Yoga Nidra. Now, normally a Yoga Nidra will probably be about an hour long, but we've just got a shortened version, but it is still a really good, it is a proper one. So you will benefit from it. So if we just prepare ourselves before we start. So I want you to get yourself into a nice, comfortable position. So if you want to, lay down where you're at, or sit, make yourself nice and comfortable in a comfy chair. You can get some cushions around you, or a blanket. Make a little nice, safe nest for yourself. And we're going to go into a nice Yoga Nidra. So to start with, I want you to think about an intention or an affirmation. This can be anything at all. Mine goes a little like this: I am a beautiful, strong, radiant woman. I will allow peace and positivity to flow through me. So something like that, you're going to say to yourself in your head, and you're just going to hold that in your head. So hopefully now you've got yourself settled and you've got yourself in a nice chair or laid down. And we're going to start off, we're going to take a nice big breath in. So take a big breath right into the belly. And then just slowly release all the way back out. Another nice big breath in. Draw the air all the way in. And slowly exhale and allow it all to release. Just let go of the outside world. Just have this little bit of time that is just for you. One last big breath in. Really draw that air all the way down to the fingers and the toes. Feel it at the top of the head. Feel it flowing all the way through. And then slowly exhale and allow all the air to release all the way back out. And then we're just going to allow the breath to come back to its natural rhythm. Just notice the coolness of the breath as it travels up the nostrils to the back of the throat. And the slight warmness as it travels back down and just dances across the top lip. Just give your breath permission to flow easily and just naturally grow a little bit deeper every time you breathe. And then we're just going to give our bodies permission to relax. So I welcome you to take your awareness down to your big right toe. Just think about that big right toe and just allow it to relax. Invite those muscles to soften and follow through to the rest of the toes and allow those toes to relax. Feel the muscles softening. Relax the feet, the ankles, the calves. Relax the knees, the thighs, the pelvis. And start to tune in to the rise and fall of the belly and the breath. Feel that chest rising and falling. Allow those shoulders to melt away and relax. Relax each vertebrae all the way up the spine. Just melt away. Relax the upper arms, the lower arms, the wrists, the hands. And feel each individual finger just soften and relax. Relax the jaw. Allow the tongue to come away from the roof of the mouth. Relax the cheeks, the eyes, the temples and the forehead. Allow the whole of the right leg to become relaxed. The whole left leg, the whole right arm, the whole left arm, the whole face, your whole head, your torso, your whole body, your whole body relaxed. And as you lay here, totally supported by the earth beneath you, I want you to imagine roots of energy growing out from the body and growing deep down into the earth. Feel them pushing through the earth, and with every breath that you take, they grow deeper and spread wider until you're completely connected to the earth. I invite you to welcome the energy from the earth and give it permission to come up through these roots and flow into the body. Feel it as it ripples in. Feel it wrapping round the muscles and the bones, flowing through the veins. Feel that warm, tingling sensation as it's coming throughout the body, this beautiful, positive, healing energy flowing throughout the body, encasing every cell. This revitalizing, healing energy that's recharging you. Just breathe it in. And as this energy travels around the body, allow it to grab hold of and carry away anything that you no longer need. Just let it be taken deep down into the earth, far away. Just release and let go. You don't need it anymore. Just breathe into the positivity. Breathe in the love. Breathe in the freedom. Just breathe. Enjoy this warm, loving energy, ebbing and flowing throughout the body. And then I want you to start to feel a cool breeze across the face. Imagine a cool wind just tickling across the face and the entire body, cooling you down. And then allow this cold sensation to deepen and feel that coldness sweep through the body, making all the hairs on the arms stand on end, this really cold sensation throughout the body. And then we're going to allow the cold to dissipate and start to feel the warmth come through. So imagine the sun beaming its rays down on you. Maybe as you realise you're laid on a beautiful beach and the warm sand is hugging the body, you can reach down and feel the tiny grains of sand just through the fingertips. And the heat absorbs throughout the body. And you can feel that yellow glow of the sun just surrounding you. This warm, beautiful sensation. And then I want you to start to feel the body become heavy. And every breath that you take, feel your body getting heavier. Every limb starts to weigh down into the supportive sand. As you feel really heavy and weighted. And then we start to notice a tiny change. And with every breath, we start to become a little lighter. Bring the awareness to the breath entering the body, filling the body of air, and really becoming lighter and weightless and free. Just like a petal floating in the wind. Just feel the air all around you, light as a feather. And I invite you now to concentrate on the eyelids and the backs of the eyes. Concentrate on that space just behind the eyes. And allow whatever comes, if it's colours, patterns, lights, anything at all. Just take a moment just to see what arrives. Just continue watching that space, manifesting all the different things with like a detached awareness. Sometimes it can be like a kaleidoscope. It's different for everybody. I'm now going to name a number of different things, and I welcome you to envision them however you can, and just jump from image to image as soon as you hear it. A peacock feather. A farmer in his field. A full moon. A vibrant sunrise. Your reflection in a mirror. Cool, clear water. Laughing with friends. A tall tree. A butterfly. A wild flower. A good night's rest. Taking a deep breath. The sound of my voice. Your body sitting here totally supported and safe. It's now time to repeat your affirmation or your intention for yourself from the beginning of our practice. Just repeat the statement mentally to yourself 3 times. And then I want you to concentrate on the feeling of the breath. Once again, noticing that breath as it travels up the nostrils to the back of the throat. And the sensation of it coming back out and dancing across the top lip. And just maintain your attention to the breath as you start to develop an awareness of the body. How it feels safe and secure. And the chair hugging you or the ground supporting you. Notice how relaxed and comfortable the body is. Take your awareness to all the parts of the body, to all the parts that are supported and touching the chair or the ground that you're on. And start to bring your consciousness to where you are, the sound of my voice, what else you can hear around you, what you can smell and feel, and just allow yourself to take everything in for a moment. And then I want you to take a nice big breath into the belly. Maybe start to wriggle the fingers and wriggle the toes. Another nice big inhale as you start to bring a bit of movement back to the body. Start bringing yourself round in your own time. Just whenever you're ready, coming back to wherever you are. Okay. So I hope that you found that little Yoga Nidra really beneficial, and it's give you a insight on how it takes you on a little journey, and how beneficial it can be for you. I think that we should maybe do a nice big breath together, really draw it down into the belly and then sigh it all out afterwards. So big breath in, sigh it all out. Give yourself a shimmy. I always like to give myself a shimmy. Get that energy flowing again. So we've just left a little bit of time if there's any questions, or if you want to jump in with anything, Liz, or if there's anything to finish off with.
Yeah, crikey. I don't know where my brain is now. I'm well relaxed. I hope everyone else is. Crikey. And I just realized halfway through, I was like, I've left my camera on, so you just sort of see me like this quite a lot. Yeah, that was amazing. I do have one question personally before I check the chat. So you mentioned the breath of fire, which really kind of intrigued me. So
Right.
when you saying about, was that kind of like to fortify yourself, to kind of, what is that?
Yeah. So basically, so if I'm going into like a high intense situation, or if I'm feeling a bit lethargic before I'm so to say, before I came on here, if I need to energize myself a little bit, a really good one. Let me sit up on my knees so you can see me belly. I don't know if you can. Oh, you can't see, it's black. But basically, you just concentrate on the exhale, really. So you're firing that exhale out. So you just close the mouth and do a few rounds of really forcing that air out, and you automatically breathe in. You don't have to think about the inhale. It just happens automatically. You're just forcing that breath out. and it's just a power breath, really, just to revitalize you and get you ready to storm.
Wow. Okay.
But that's what I mean. There's so many different types that can have
yeah.
such different effects on you. And it's just about trying all the different ones and just picking what can work for you.
Oh,
Really good one with the kids. When I used to teach the kids, I used to teach them bee breath, because I think that's a really important one, especially for kids that, you know, they haven't, you know, if they're in a traumatic situation and things and they haven't got any space for themselves. It just takes you, doesn't matter where you are, it takes you inside yourself. So you basically cutting off your senses. So you're closing your eyes, closing your ears, and you make a vibrational noise as it's coming out. So you hear, all you hear is the vibrations, and the vibrations are really soothing as well. So it's just a really good breath to calm somebody that's in a high intense situation, that's got too much surround, you know, they can't switch off from everything.
Wow. That's brilliant. Well, we do have a couple of comments in the chat that are basically saying that they can't wait to go and have a look at Alpaca sessions. So that's really good. A couple of people have said, this is brilliant. I'm going to go back when I've finished work, or when I go home, I'm going to do this again, but like in the comfort of my own home. From the recording. So I think that especially the Yoga Nidra bit has kind of hit home and thought, okay, we can use this. This is a good technique. So yeah, it's a brilliant, really, really good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's I think if you can just try and find, that's what I wanted to like bring across, that you don't have to be perfect in anything, and there's so many different types and styles that you've just got to experiment with everything, even with poses. I think because I'm not very good at sitting in one place and things like that. So for me, and for people like are autistic or ADHD and things like that, to hold a pose sometimes can just feel against the grain. So to bring movement to the poses, you don't have to sit rigid in a pose. You can, I call it flossing. So you can go into a pose and you can floss through the pose, and you know, have different movements, and you're lubricating all those joints. You're still in those poses, strengthening and lubricating the joints, and it's all yumminess for your body. It's, you know, we can strengthening the body and mind to whatever works for you. Nobody is, I hate the thing of putting people in boxes. I think we can all go in every box there is. We've all got a little bit of every box in.
Definitely. And I do like that. I'm going to use that. It's a bit of yummy for the body. I think that's brilliant.